In this episode, I go over my top 5 picks for New Comic Book Day coming out next week, September 14th, 2022. What is up, everybody? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. In this episode, I'm going over my top 5 picks for New Comic Book Day coming out next week, September 14th, 2022. So if you're here for that, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and of course, as always, a huge shout out to the premiere chat right now. Thanks so much for hanging out with me here on this Thursday afternoon. Let's get into this list, because again, it's another great week for comic books, and I'm really excited to dive in. So starting off at number 5, I'm going with this book right here, Midnight Suns issue number 1. Now, I've never read the original Midnight Suns. I know that had to do with Morbius and had to do with Ghost Rider and some of those other characters. I've never explored that before. Maybe I should. My buddy Mike would be telling me to do that. But I definitely am curious to see what this is about, because it looks like it's a new team. And the biggest thing that stood out to me is that there are mutants involved, as you can see on the front cover here with Magic and Wolverine. You also got Blade down at the bottom with, of course, Ghost Rider still involved. So I'm on board. I want to just see what this is. I want to see where it's about, or what it's about. It's written by Ethan Sachs, who I'm not very familiar with. The artwork, Luigi Zagaria. And then the artwork, the cover A at least, is David Nakayama, which is really cool as well. I'd be down to continue to buy the cover A's if my man David is doing the artwork for that, because I've been a big fan of his. I actually got to meet him in Chicago earlier this year. So really good stuff there. A couple of variants that are coming out for this as usual. What Marvel does here, but yeah, I'm on board to at least check it out, see what it's about. I don't know if this is going to tie into the X-Men stuff that's been going on lately or not. But we'll give it a shot, see where it is. But that's my number 5 pick of the week, Midnight Suns issue number 1. Going in at number 4, keeping up with the mutant talk here, we got Axe Judgment Day issue number 4 coming out. If you guys don't know, this is the big tie-in between the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Eternals. Whether you've been reading all that stuff or not, the event itself has been really, really epic and a lot of fun. Really just enjoying how this whole thing's turning out, just in general. Of course, Kieran Gillen doing the writing for this, Valero Sheedy doing the interior artwork, and the cover that we're looking at here is Mark Brooks, who's been just absolutely crushing it. I've been buying all the cover A's for this run here, and if I can get my hands on them, the Virgin variants as well. But yeah, so really just overall, I've invested really reading into the X-Men stuff. I've went back and reread all of the Eternal stuff, thanks to Sove Collector. And then of course Avengers, I always just kind of keep up with some of that stuff now and again. But because I went back and, really been reading a lot of the X-Men stuff, especially, it just made everything just so much, more special, this event. So, if you haven't been reading this, I don't know if it's a event you could just jump into. I feel like you need to know some of the stuff prior to this, especially the X-Men stuff, even that Hickman has started. So that's a lot of reading. So not new reader friendly, but definitely a well worth payoff if you've been keeping up with a lot of, those titles and, seeing where this goes. So anyway, that's why it's going to be on the top of my list, at least, for these next couple of months, at least somewhere within my top 5 each and every month, because until it finishes up here, because we got another 3 issues, I think. So, but yeah, looking forward to more of that. So that's going to be my number 4 pick of the week, Judgment Day, issue number 4. Let's go into my number 3 pick here. And again, with some more mutants involved, we got XMen Red, issue number 6. Probably my favorite X-Men title out right now. I only say probably because Immortal X-Men is also that damn good as well. Loving the two of them together. But X-Men Red definitely has a place in my heart, because we've been learning so much about Araku, which is the planet Mars, essentially, but the mutant planet now that's kind of taken over, and what we've learned all the way through the X of Swords and all those story arcs, that have been kind of building up to kind of where we got now. It's just been awesome, and I'm more and more curious about these other characters, these other mutants who we've never learned about before, we never heard of before, because we didn't know anything about Araku. So all this stuff has just been really, really neat to kind of just unfold the way it is. So, and of course, it's a tie into Judgment Day, as we were just talking about. And I will say, last issue was insane. It was so wild. I mean, if you haven't read it yet, definitely go back and check it out. You can see Magneto's helmet there. A lot of stuff that has to do with that man. And yeah, just some really, really wild stuff. So definitely up there is my one of my favorite X-Men titles, and there's a lot of X-Men titles right now, so that's saying something. One of my favorite X-Men titles right now, XMen Red, that and Immortal X-Men. So, but that's going to be my number 3 pick of the week, XMen Red issue number 6. And again, by that's by Al Ewing. I should have noted that earlier. All right, let's get into my number 2 pick. We're going to change it up here, get away from the big 2, and go to Image, which has Righteous Thirst for Vengeance issue number 11. And honestly, it probably could be a number 1. I feel like I'd say this a lot, but this might be a 1A, 1B compared to the other one that I do have at number 1. But, this being my number 2 pick, I'm still that excited for it that it's something I'm going to jump right into. I feel like we've had a little bit of a hiatus. I feel like it's been like 2 or 3 months since we had issue 10 come out. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that was, on purpose or if that was, issues with shipping or whatever. Rick Remender doing the writing for this. And of course we got, Andre Lima Arahu doing the artwork. The two of them together are just phenomenal. I will say one of the things that really stands out to me with this book is the way the storytelling is. So Arahu does a lot more storytelling within his artwork than just dialogue, which I really appreciate. And it's much more so than, I guess, your typical book that, the dialogue is down, not downplayed, but just, less than the average, I guess, comic book right now. And with that, you still get this intense thriller of a story, and a lot of it being told by the artwork. It's something I really appreciate. And Rick Remender, one of my favorite writers, love his work in general. So this is definitely a book. It's been up high on my list. It's going to continue to be high on my list. And if you haven't read it, definitely go back, get the first trade. Just check that out. Give it a shot. You'll be hooked. I mean, I know I was hooked. I loved it. And I'm still here with it now. So, definitely an intense thriller, a lot of violence, not for kids, but definitely worth reading, if that's something that sounds like you'd be interested in. So, that's going to be my number 2 pick of the week, A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, issue number 11, by Rick Remender. So, before I get to my number 1 pick, just want to remind everybody that, well, for one, smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are winding down the summer here. So, as we get into the fall and more specifically October, John and I, John from John's Comics with Kids, will be kicking off our season 3 of Omni X-Men. Really excited for that as well. I think we're starting up on, issue 153. So if you want to read along with us, you can start there. Or just jump in anyways if you haven't read this stuff, because that's what we do. We break it down for you. But it's a lot of fun. We'll have a lot of different guests coming up and things like that. So I believe that's October 11th that we'll be kicking that off. And so I'm sure we'll do some announcement over on Instagram. Other than that, this weekend, this Saturday, is ZapCon coming up here in Wayne, New Jersey. So if you're going to be at ZapCon, let me know. ZapCon is a Comic-Con that is run by my local LCS, Zap Comics. They've been doing it every year other than the pandemic year. So I think this is like their 5th one that they've kicked off now. I went to the one right before the pandemic, so definitely miss it. It was a lot of fun, the one that I went to. It's really cool too because they have their own artist alley, and a lot of the artists from Artist Alley that they have are from the Kubert School in New Jersey. So you get a lot of newer artists, up and coming artists, and get to see their work. And who knows, maybe some of those artists turn into the next big thing down the road. And it's cool to kind of have met them early in their career. So definitely looking forward to that. If you're going to be at ZapCon, let me know. Again, that's this Saturday, all day. I plan to be there a majority of the day, like I've been in the past, and that's in Wayne, New Jersey. So. Other than that, let's get into my number 1 pick. And then, of course, I'll go over my cover buy of the week as well. So stick around for that as well. But my number 1 pick's going to this book right here, Batman versus Robin, issue number 1. We get this new series by Mark Waid, who has been writing the Batman and Superman World's Finest, which I've really, really been enjoying. And, of course, this also ties in with, being that there's Robin involved, with the Shadow War stuff that was being told, over the span of, I guess, a year and a half now, just about not just Shadow War, but just the Robin series as a whole. And I've been really enjoying that as well, from Joshua Williamson. So between those two main series, now it's kind of all tying together because it's, as we see here, father versus son, what's going down here. We've been getting all this journey for Batman and Superman, what they've been going through, from what Mark Waid has been writing in the World's Finest stuff. But then we also had the epic adventure and the Shadow War event that Damian Wayne has been going through with Deathstroke. And it's just been wild. So between all that and the tournament and all that stuff, it's all kind of combining now. And I'm just kind of curious to see where this goes because it's not Batman and Robin. It's Batman versus Robin. Keyword versus Robin. So we'll see where it goes from here. But sign me me up. I'm definitely down, and that's why it's my number one pick of the week. Batman versus Robin, issue number 1. And to go along with that, I'm going to give you guys my cover buy of the week. And again, cover buys are the book that I just can't help but own because of the artwork. And it's this book right here, only it's not cover A, it's cover B. Joshua Williamson doing the cardstock variant for this book here. And yes, this is definitely a book on my list that I will have in my collection. I must have for my PC because of the artwork, but it works out because I'm also excited because I want to read it as well. So another one of those scenarios where it just kind of worked out both ways. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below if you have a cover buy of the week. What book is that for you? Because I think we all have that from time to time. And otherwise, that's going to be my list for my top 5 books for new comic book day coming out in September 14th next week, 2022. If you like what you saw here, leave a comment in the comment section below. If you think I missed something, let me know. Let me know what you're reading right now. Always curious about that as well. Again, a big shout out to the premiere chat too. Thanks so much for hanging out with me as always on these Thursday afternoons when these videos premiere, 12:30 Eastern. Otherwise, take a moment, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and until next time, I will talk to you later.